Hi, everyone. Welcome to Heart of the Valley, where we meet the people and organizations working to make the Central Valley a better place to live. Joining me today is Vic Lucero, Job Placement Director at the Southeast Fresno Community Economic Development Association, or CEFCEDA. Also joining us is Jose Luis Barraza, Chief Executive Officer for CEFCEDA, and James Obermire, Career Technical Education Coordinator at Fresno Unified School District. Thank you all for joining me today. Vic, why don't we start with you? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your organization?
Oh, thank you very much for having us, Louis. Well, I've got some experience working for nonprofits. Prior to coming to CEFCEDA, I've got about 7 years experience working with nonprofit funding organizations. They're called CDFIs, Community Development Funding Institutions, and they have the same purpose as CEFCEDA, serving the underserved communities that we have here in Fresno. So what we worked with, we were women, underprivileged families, and we provided I provided technical assistance to startup businesses, doing business plans, projections, helping underprivileged people set up their own business, and then securing finances for those businesses. And coming to CEFCEDA has been a wonderful experience because here at CEFCEDA, we're still working with the same clients that I've worked for in the past. Only in this instance, we're looking for jobs and career opportunities for our clients. So, pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Vic. James, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
So, I'm currently the CT coordinator, Career Technical Education Coordinator at Farber Educational Campus. And my role is to work with industry, work with business partners to provide experiences for students. So I work with the teachers directly on campus. And our goal is always about how can we promote college and career. So our focus is really around promoting those different careers within the Valley so that students, when they leave high school, have a much broader experience and a much better understanding of what's out there so they can make a better decision as they move forward in their lives.
Right. Jose Luis, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do?
Well, I'm Jose Luis Barraza once again, and basically I am the CEO of CEFCEDA, and I'm also the co-founder of the organization. It's an organization that's been around for about 15 years. It came out of just right after the recession that we went through back in 2008. Recognizing that we had a community that was extremely in deterioration and we needed things to change around. And so we came together. When I say we're talking about the residents and businesses in Southeast Fresno, and developed this organization to help our government move a lot of projects forward. And that's how we began to start. Currently, we're now, and we have been for some time, working right off the streets of Cesar Chavez Boulevard. We're not far from Farber campus, and we have a partnership there with them, and we're putting on this event, which we feel really important for the community, because we do have a high rate of unemployment, underemployed, or displaced workers, and that's an important part of why we want to put this fair on. Our community has a makeup of diversity, and so we have a high number of migrants, immigrants, and people who are refugees. So that's a great part of who we service. But the diversity consists of other people who are young, mainly, and people who are older, over 65, and still needing to work because of our current economy. So who comes through our doors varies, and who we serve everyone, regardless if they're from Southeast Fresno or not.
When someone walks through your doors, what's usually going on with their lives?
Great question there. When somebody walks through the door, we really don't know background. And since we're serving community in Southeast Fresno, we can expect anyone to come through the doors. But primarily, we get a lot of Spanish-speaking clients English-speaking clients, and they're usually experience some kind of hardship, and they need to work. They need to work right away. So what we do is we do kind of a triage. When they first come through the door, we find out what their home situation is like, what their educational background is, and also, of course, most importantly, what their work experience and background is. So we have a intake counselor that will gather that information, fill out all the necessary paperwork, ID, social security cards, application resumes, and then they're transferred to our employment specialist, who will then one-on-one do the triage, find out how employable they are, determine any barriers that they have to employment, and also a mock interview to see how they're doing with their interview skills. We also partner with about 13 other CBOs. Those are community-based organizations like ours that are out in the community serving various functions of helping the underserved. For example, United Way. We work very closely with United Way, referring clients with needs that they have. And then when that's all done, then they come to me. Then I talk a little bit to the client, finding out what kind of job they're looking for. Sometimes it's just a job. They need a job just to pay for the rent and foods. Some are a little more advanced and are looking for career opportunities. So we steer them in the direction of jobs for career opportunities. So thank you.
What is the biggest misconception people have about unemployed or underemployed workers in Fresno?
Well, I can answer that pretty easy. I did job development about 30 years ago, and getting a job 30 years ago was a lot different than it is today. 30 years ago, an employer would have a job opening, they'd receive 30, 40, 50 applicants, because you got to go down to the place of business, fill out an application. Well, that's not what we're experiencing today. Today, when an employer has a job opening, they tell you, go apply online. And so instead of getting 50 applications, they're getting 500 applicants, 1,000 applicants. And they're not able to screen all those applicants, so they employ AI. It's called the application tracking system to filter through all those applications. So what I'm finding out is a lot of people never even get called for interviews, even though they're qualified, great candidates, because they don't know how to fill out their application to score high with the application tracking system. So that's what I'm working with clients today. So what I explain to a lot of employers, and one of the reasons that we're doing the job fair is to engage that face-to-face contact. So instead of filling out an application online, they can come down to Farber School and meet some of these employers. The employers can meet face-to-face with applicants and make a good qualified decision moving forward with their positions.
I would say a lot of the misconceptions too around the students of Fresno Unified is that they're not qualified. And if you look at all of the programs that are within Fresno Unified CTE program, every single high school, both comprehensive and alternative, offer CTE programs. And it's much different than the old like ROP model or basically just the trade school type classes. We are providing job skills within our curriculum along with the technical skills as well. And every high school has anywhere from, like our program has 3 different CT programs. We offer logistics and warehouse management. We offer an audio and arts, media, and entertainment program, as well as a public service program. So there's a lot of misconceptions around what actually Fresno Unified students can offer to businesses, and those are some of the things that we try to encourage our students to advocate for themselves, that they have the skills necessary to be successful. To your second question, Fresno Unified, especially specifically Farber, really our principal has made it a model and a mission that we want to be a school of Southeast Fresno. For those people that don't know, our school is built on the old juvenile hall campus of that area. So when Fresno Unified decided to buy that land, they made it a point to tear everything down, go down basically to what we call the grassroots, take out the top layer of dirt, as our principal likes to say, and really rebuild that school and that area as a place of hope and as a place of positivity within Southeast Fresno. And if you drive down Cesar Chavez, you'll see a beautiful campus that is now giving students a lot more, hope and positivity for the future. And that is that's all about what Fresno Unified is about. We've got under our superintendent, Misty Herr, one of our goals is around college and career readiness and making sure that our students can move forward and are successful after they leave high school, because that's a key feature of what we see from studies. Students that are more prepared in college and career ready have more successful futures.
Talk a little bit about the specifics of the job fair. So when is it, what time is it, and what you're hoping to see, and who's involved?
So Vic came to me and was just for that partnership. So we came up on the date. We decided on February 27th, Friday, February 27th, from 4 to 6. We want to try to incorporate students at Farber as well as the community members themselves. So we have a beautiful outdoor amphitheater area where we're going to have our booth set up. So I've been working closely with Vic on creating that map so that our community members can come onto Farber's campus, be able to park and see the different venues. So it's a great way that Farber can partner with our community, and as they are, as he said, right down the street from us, we want to make sure that our community knows that Farber is about the community. It's not just it's a high school. We are a community school as well.
Yeah. How big is the school?
So Farber we have 3 programs within the school. Currently, we're sitting around 1,500 total students enrolled, from online elementary students all the way up to seniors in high school. So our students come to us from all over the district for a variety of reasons, and we work with these students to make sure that they can get back on track to graduate, and still have those experiences that they would have at what we consider like a comprehensive high school, like your Roosevelts or your Sunnysides. And we take in our students to make sure that, again, like I said, that they can graduate and get the same degree, high school diploma that they would get at any other high school. So that's the beautiful thing about our schools. We get students from all over Fresno, and that's what makes our school very unique, because we have so many different cultures coming onto our campus that make Farber a wonderful place to be.
And there's obviously other organizations that will be involved in this job fair?
Absolutely, absolutely. When I came to James and explained the concept of the job fair, we both got very excited, because not only can we address the needs of the students, but we can also address the needs of the community. And James has been very modest about the campus. I love the school. It's kind of designed like a college campus. I understand there's no bells ringing. They have a student union, not a cafeteria. And I see that a lot of students feel empowered and proud of the school. I wore a button one day, and I was out buying tacos at a taco truck, and a couple of young kids asked me if I worked there and said, "Oh yeah, my brother's going to be going there. We're so excited to go to Farber Educational Center." So I'm very proud of the campus, and since there's such a close proximity to our office, it's a wonderful partnership. Regarding the job fair, I'd like to invite anybody that's looking for a job or a career to come out and check us out. What I noticed is there's 2 types of jobs. There's a job, somebody that needs to go to work, a student that needs to go to work just to make some money for school. And there's also the career type of jobs that are available. So I also recognize that within the community, there are some needs of the community. So I've invited United Way, a nonprofit that helps the community. I've invited, and participating will be the Marjorie Mason Center. They'll be out talking to women. I've also invited the Hispanic Council on Alcoholism to come and talk about the pitfalls of drug and alcohol usage. And then we've got a ton of employers coming in, anywhere from a small business to a large business. I've tried to invite people that come from the 4 categories that we try to find employment. That would be business environment, manufacturing environment, construction, and what's the last one? Transportation. So I've invited some businesses from each of those industries to participate. Including some extra ones. I've got a guy that owns a scuba company, that's California Scuba Company. He's providing scuba training for, and he's got a contract with Fresno Unified to provide training for scuba careers in scuba gear. So I think a lot of kids will be excited about that as well. I've got some paralegals coming in to talk about paralegal professions. So we've got some jobs you can get. We also have some professionals with careers that you can explore careers and ask questions there too. Thank you.
Great. What advice, and this I'll just open it up to everyone here, what advice do you have for people that show up to the job fair?
I think it's important that we understand here that our employment services that we provide at CEFCITA are based on certain requirements that they have to meet, but they're not necessarily requirements that we would turn down to help an individual. If we cannot service that individual, we are in partnership with other employment agencies who can service those individuals if they don't meet the requirements of our particular program. So we will refer those people out immediately once we make that determination, because we want to make sure that our community is serviced. Second part I wanted to point out, Farber is a very important piece on the corridor of Southeast Fresno's Cesar Chavez Boulevard, and it's for this reason. It's part of our economic development. For CEFCITA, the Farmer campus is a very important piece in Southeast Fresno, specifically on the Cesar Chavez Boulevard, because that's the main corridor to Southeast Fresno, and it's the highest area in which employability is possible. A lot of development is taking place, and they have set the stage for that. I mean, we've got other businesses that have opened up. We've seen improvements taking place, also because our assistance in that direction of improving the quality of the businesses on that corridor. What we see is that it's going to bring more employment to the community. We just need to encourage that investment as we proceed forward. And I think that Farber is going to be a tremendous help towards that direction.
Jose Luis, why is this work so important to you and to the community that you serve?
Well, I'm glad you said to me, because I was born and raised in Fresno, and I have embraced in the love I have for this community, specifically in Southeast Fresno, because I was born right there on Bond and Cesar Chavez Boulevard at the hospital there. And so I've always been part of improving the quality of life for the residents of Fresno. But now we're focused on Southeast Fresno, and we're doing it because we've seen, based on the 1923 Roosevelt plan that was adopted by the city of Fresno, that very little was taking place. And we've seen we needed to play a role, especially after 2008. And I think, what I recognize today is government can't do it alone. It needs to be through collaboration, both with the private sector and the public sector. And that's the direction that our current mayor has taken, and we've been very successful in making things happen. And we're grateful to the mayor of adopting that mission statement of One Fresno, even though that's hard to really stay committed to because there's so many areas that are pushing and pulling. He believes it, I believe it, and we're working it.
Walk me through what you do if I'm walking through your doors.
Okay. Thanks. Good question. Well, first of all, I'd like to explain that we're funded through a federal program that's administered by the Fresno County Economic Development Corporation. That job is to provide good jobs. That's the name of the project, Good Jobs. So when somebody comes through our door, regardless of their education, nationality, background, we welcome them all through the doors. And then what we do is we kind of explain to them that we're there to help them with employment. That's our main focus, is finding employment. So once a client comes in the door, the first step would be to get a job application to see what their background is. We also ask if they're ready to work, if they're able to work in the United States. Very important these days. We ask for supporting documentation to that effect, a work permit, driver's license, social security number, and then we sit down and talk about their particular case. What kind of work are they looking for? We get some people that have extensive agricultural or farm working background, but they want to get a regular job. They don't want to be seasonal employees. I had a husband and wife come in. They've raised 3 children working as migrant farm workers, and they said, you know, 1 month we're over here, another month we're over here working. We want stability for our family. We want benefits for our family. So we start looking to see what kind of jobs we can match them up with. Entry-level positions that we can match them up with. Then I get other people that are a little bit more advanced in their job career, so we find those professional jobs. We had one client recently that succeeded through Central Unified getting her CNA certification, and we were able to help her find a job in a hospice center, and now she's looking to work for her RNA licensing. So that's the kind of work we're trying to do. We're trying to uplift the community through prosperity, through jobs, through careers.
What advice do you have for folks these days looking for employment? Whoever wants to take that.
I like to address that because my job primarily is the one-on-one interviewing with potential clients that are looking for work. So the first thing I wanted to do with them is give them encouragement. A lot of folks come in the door very discouraged because they put a lot of applications and haven't had any success with them. So that's the first thing I do. I also, one of the first questions I ask the applicant is, are you working? Do you have a job? And usually they always say no. I said, wrong. You do have a job. Your job is getting a job right now. You want to get up at 9 a.m. in the morning and start working and filling out applications. Break for lunch, grab yourself a taco, and then go back to work at 1 o'clock looking for work until 5 o'clock. That's your job starting today, and I'll help you do that. And so then what I do is I discuss a little bit about the application process, how it's changed, how I've explained to you it's changed. And then we start doing a little bit of training on how to change the way you apply for jobs online. One of the things that I recommend is the language. Because it's an AI, it does not, no human being is going to read your application in the beginning. It's going to be an AI. So you want to use some of the exact verbiage on the job description in your application, the verbiage that you use. The other thing that AI likes, or the automatic tracking systems like, they like numbers. When you apply for a job, you're there to provide a service for the business. And that service is to help them make money. And so the way to do that is numbers. And the example I give people is if you're applying for a job at McDonald's and one guy puts down that he can flip 50 burgers in an hour, and another applicant puts on his applications, I can flip 150 burgers in an hour. Well, who do you think is going to get that job? That fast burger flipping guy, right? So the applications need numbers so that when they see numbers on your app, that app is pulled out and put in front of an employer so that they can do an interview. So that's usually some of the first advice that I give job applicants.
Jose Luis, you've been at this for some time now. What would success for Southeast Fresno look like, say, 5 years from now?
Businesses flourish and be able to hire more people, that homes are being looked at more to purchase than to rent. That will improve the quality of life and the economy of that sector of the community. And that's what we're looking for. We want to see home buyers. We want to see people developing businesses, increasing their businesses, and improving the quality of services they can so that the traffic that it generates also improves that prosperity of those businesses, and as well as the residents of the community. And I think that that's really important for Southeast Fresno.
What's a skill everyone should learn?
From our students, some of the things that we always talk about is you have to be able to advocate for yourself. You have to understand that you have skills, and you have to recognize that even from a student perspective that has never had a job, there are skills that you have and that can offer to a business. So please, learn how to look internally at yourself and see the good qualities that you have and the skills that you do have. However, little you may think they be, there are jobs out there for everything, i.e. like our students that babysit, that's childcare. So there are skills that all students have, and part of what we try to do is create that advocacy for them so that they see the value that they can provide to somebody.
Excellent point.
And I think, for me, communications is really important, but appearance is also a significant part of that communication, because the way you present yourself also speaks to the individual. So we encourage, appearance and communication, articulating your thoughts clearly and precisely in terms of what you're capable of doing to the employer is what's going to get them hired, and how you appear.
Best advice for someone discouraged after rejection?
Yeah, I get that all the time. What I tell my clients is, you're going to be discouraged. There's a lot of rejection, especially when you apply online. Not to take it personally. That's a computer looking at your application. They're not saying anything about you personally. So I encourage them to look at this like a job. 8 to 5. If you're unemployed, you want to be looking for work 8 to 5, and eventually you will find a job.
What's the first thing someone should do right now to improve their job chances?
We tell our students all the time, create a resume, update your resume, and be consistent with it, because the skills that you continue to learn, a lot of times you forget about it as you do it. So if you can keep that resume up to date, as current as you can, at least look at it at least once a year, because like I said, the skills that you're learning, for some of us it seems second nature, but for others that's exactly what they're looking for. So continue to just monitor the success that you're having, and don't overlook the success that you continue to learn every day.
My advice, if you're looking for a job today, don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. There are organizations that are available, not only ours, but where you can get coaches, mentors, people that will hold you accountable on your job search, and that'll increase your success rate tremendously. It's having somebody on your team kind of helping you and guiding you through your job search. And I always tell people that I'm helping you get a job, but most importantly, I'm helping and teaching you how to get a job. So I'm not just giving you a fish, I'm teaching you how to fish.
Awesome.
My encouragement to the individuals is this, and it's always been my philosophy, is that if you have an interest in what you want to do in life, something you would really enjoy, then look at the type of employment you're trying to obtain that fits very much to the direction you want to go in terms of that career. And if you work it, and you work it hard, you will succeed.
To anybody watching this, please think about, especially this is around job fairs. Fresno Unified has, and I don't have an exact number, but if you think about the amount of seniors that are graduating every year, if you're looking for qualified applicants, your high schools are a great place to look because of the career technical education programs we have. There are students that can meet the needs, and for so many, I think businesses, they're a little weary about maybe the youth or the inexperienced, but you'd be surprised at the level of knowledge and competency that Fresno Unified students can provide in the services that they could provide for so many businesses in the Valley. In Fresno, there's a lot of skills that are coming out of Fresno Unified. So I would challenge businesses to look at that and think about partnering with with our high schools around your area and seeing what they have, and I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. On that note, Vic, Jose Luis, James, thank you so much for joining me today and everything you're doing to help our community. Appreciate it. Thank you. That is going to do it for this edition of Heart of the Valley. If you are a nonprofit, a community organization, or if you know someone making a difference in the Central Valley, we would love to hear from you. Please shoot me an email at lcruz@kc.com or DM me on Instagram or Facebook at News Cruz. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody.